What's up, guys? Welcome back to the second channel. Quick little ditty repair on the 2004 Tundra, aka Submarine. You guys may have noticed when I'm going down the highway, two things: my four-wheel drive light's on and the check engine light's on. The engine light is actually an evap, so evap leak, very small leak, and that'll, I guess, be a different video. Not too worried about it. But the four-wheel drive light, that actually bothers me. So what I did, basically, after we sunk this in the river, one of the items that was broken is the Toyota ADD. It's essentially a little motor on the front axle that slides this fork over, and basically to help you save fuel mileage. So when you're going down the highway, just the CV axles are spinning, but the differential, you know, your front drive shaft going to the axle in the front is not spinning when this is disengaged. But the motor went bad in this, so all I did was go down there and manually override it, slide it over. So this always says that we're in four-wheel drive now, but we are not. We're in, because this has a manual transfer case, so we're in two-wheel high. However, when you go into four-wheel, there's no motor action to take place up there. It is in four-wheel drive and four-wheel low, which is totally awesome, actually, because it's one less thing to break. What I don't like is when I'm backing a trailer into the driveway, I like, you know, this engine doesn't have a lot of low end torque, a little 3.4 V6. So if I'm reversing, I like to go, I put this switch right here. See, it says two-wheel drive down, and that kills the power over to this unit. And that way, when I go to four-wheel low, it's really two-wheel low, and then I can idle and kind of reverse the trailer real easily. You gotta be careful not to break an axle like that, because that's a lot of torque going to the rear. But anyway, that being said, I think it's time to replace this. I got an aftermarket one for $100 on eBay. The OEM one is a lot more money. I'm hoping maybe we can just take these bolts off, and let me show you under here. Grab a piece of cardboard since the driveway's all muddy. And looking out the front of the truck, this is where the unit's located, right there. So to replace the entire thing, it seems we would probably have to drop the differential. I'm gonna just take the screws off, and hopefully we can just, like I said, replace only the motor if it's the same. I already got the connection off. And but like the way I have this locked right now, I can't turn this. If this was normally in two-wheel drive as a factory truck, you'd be able to spin this, and that way this is not rotating going down the road. It basically disconnects the two shafts from each other, or disconnects the right side shaft from the main differential to prevent that all from spinning. It's actually more reliable as far as four-wheel drive goes now, because when I manually transfer it into four-wheel with that shifter, it is in guaranteed four-wheel. You don't have to worry about this stupid little motor moving the thing over, you know. Let's pop these Phillips off, see what it looks like inside. The other reason I want to replace just the motor is I feel like as many of the OEM parts as I can keep, I'd rather. You know, not only is it going to be less labor if the parts fit, but I trust that fork metal inside more than the aftermarket Chinese one. You know, based on some previous experiences I've had. Oh man, this truck's undercoated, so it's filthy under here. I should be wearing long sleeves. Hey, see, that was so easy. Here's a look inside, and this is what actually went bad on it. Water somehow got in there and then shorted it out. Could probably just replace this little motor on the side, but this housing actually has a broken nipple that I siliconed. So it's supposed to have a nipple coming off of there. So we'll go with the entire unit. And if I was going crazy with this, I think I would consider doing a mechanical switch over on this. Because like I said, it's nice to be able to have the ADD. I just don't like the fact that there's a little tiny motor in there that, you know, burned up, and I don't know. Garbage. Unreliable. Oh yeah, the brush is completely gone in there. I don't know, maybe it's just coincidence that this burned up after the river. You can see all these windings got glowing red, and you know, all discolored. They should look like copper like that. Proper fix is to take these 4 bolts, replace the whole unit. It's simple enough, but I don't know. Again, it's just more labor. I guess I'm just being lazy. Don't feel like dropping the axle down or dealing with a tight fit. Yeah, looking pretty much identical. And just to show you how this thing operates, when this motor spins, the worm gear in here, I think it's called, it has a spring right here. So even if this fork is jammed and it can't slide over, the fork can stay stationary. Normally, in an ideal world, the fork can just slide back and forth. If the fork is jammed, and it'll be stuck there, and then when the fork can see the spring moved, but then when the fork can go, it'll click in. Same thing when you're coming out of four-wheel, it'll spin over, and then if you might have to turn once or twice. When the fork can slide, it will. I just bolted the new one in. One little problem is I don't know if I have it clocked perfectly right or not, but I guess let's see what happens. So again, I'm going to turn the two-wheel drive switch off. And you can see our four-wheel drive light is off right now. Let's start this up. And see if we go into four-wheel. Right, didn't hear any servo motor action. Nothing. It's moving a little bit. Not engaging. Maybe I don't have it clocked right. About a half hour later, and I think we got it fixed. It turns out I just didn't have it clocked right. So I took it back out, put it in two-wheel, let it center itself, and then put it back on. I'll show you with the key on. We go ahead to four-wheel, and I hear the motor go, light comes on, shift back to two-wheel, motor goes, shuts off. However, a really nice upgrade if you own one of these trucks, put a switch in that kills power down to that unit. And so when I put it into four-wheel, see, nothing happens. Go over to four-wheel low, and we're now on two-wheel low. Once you're done with that, just go ahead and, don't forget you put the switch in there, because your four-wheel is not going to work. Put the switch back on, you see the four-wheel comes back. Now I think that'll wrap the video up. I know it was a quick little one. I was able to get the broken nipple off out of the hose, put it in. I'll keep this as just a spare one for parts. But if you own one of these trucks, it's good to know how this operates now. So if for some reason you have a wiring issue, a bad motor, blown fuse, and you couldn't, replace the fuse if it's just blown fuse. But if you have an issue with this, take those 4 Phillips off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take this off and manually transfer it over so you can get into four-wheel drive. That's what I did for a very long while, ever since this sunk in the river. It worked great. But now I have my two-wheel low back, which is why I went ahead and did this replacement. And now people won't be commenting about that pesky four-wheel drive light on. You see this front propeller shaft can spin freely as well. So when we're going down the highway, the CV axles are still spinning, but this is not anymore, which equals increased fuel mileage, right? The next Diddy video on this truck will probably be fixing the power door locks that don't work ever since the river. I can hear the solenoid going, but nothing happens. So we'll get to the bottom of that in a future video. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. See you soon.